Vladimir Putin's bloody victory in Ukraine will cost Russia a lot as NATO expands. Vladimir Putin is trying to extract a bloody victory from the fighting in Ukraine, but he is likely to pay a heavy price as NATO expands and unites. According to an Australian TV expert, Russia's war aim in Ukraine is to strangle Kiev's access to the sea, warned Dennis Shanahan, the Australian's national editor. Shanahan spoke out after Russian forces captured the last Ukrainian-held territory in the eastern region of Luhansk. He argued that while Vladimir Putin could win a short-term, bloody victory, the end result was likely to cost the Kremlin dearly as NATO expanded and became increasingly aware of the need to counter the combined Russian and Chinese threat. Mr. Shanahan told Sky News Australia, "I think the brutal reality is that Russia is strangling Ukraine. It's a very bloody, slow war, a war of attrition, but every time Ukraine tries to catch its breath, Putin's boa constrictor pulls a little tighter to achieve his ultimate goal. And that is to isolate Ukraine from the sea. That's what's going to happen. If that happens, Ukraine will have to make some kind of deal with Russia. It will be a bloody victory for Russia. In the long term it will cost a lot, but in the short term it has increased NATO. The rest of Europe and the US now see Asia and China as a common Russian-Chinese threat," he added. "So I think Putin will regret this invasion of Ukraine in the longer term, even if at some point he can claim some kind of victory and a victory of his own goal." The US ambassador said China should not spread Russian propaganda. This came at an unusual public forum in a country that has refused to condemn Moscow's attack. Speaking at the World Peace Forum organized by Tsinghua University, US Ambassador Nicholas Burns called Russia's war on Ukraine the greatest threat to the global world order. Burns said he hoped Chinese Foreign Ministry spokespersons would stop repeating Russian propaganda, blaming NATO for the war. "I hope the State Department spokespeople would also stop spreading lies about American bioweapons labs that don't exist in Ukraine," he said. Burns was flanked by the ambassadors of Britain and France on his left and a Chinese government advisor and the Russian ambassador on his right. The organizer had billed the meeting as a discussion between representatives of the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council, and the discussion was unusually pointed by the standards of public forums in China in recent years. Russia calls its action in Ukraine a special operation to disarm Ukraine and protect it from fascists. Ukraine and the West consider the accusation of fascism unfounded and the war an unprovoked act of aggression. During the session on the general topic of the United Nations and the global order, all 3 Western ambassadors criticized Russia for its illegal aggression against Ukraine, a term Russian ambassador Andrei Denisov rejected.